that regardless of what everybody else thinks, she's the most beautiful thing in the world. She needs a daddy to show her that she don't have to be validated by no rascal who's trying to put another notch in his belt loop, but that you got a daddy who will love you and take care of you. I saw God providing for his children when they were hungry in the wilderness. God rained bread from heaven to feed his children when they didn't have anything to eat. Daddy, that's a mighty good place for you to understand that that's what you're supposed to do. You need to go out here and work somewhere. Stop looking for a Fortune 500 company and just do what you can until God opens the Fortune 500 door. If you got to work at McDonald's, at least you're making an honest living. If you got to work at the car wash, then just scrub the front and thank God that you got a paycheck coming. If you got to bag groceries, do whatever you got to do because you got to provide for those children. I saw God protecting his children when they got into battle with the Amalekites. When the Amalekites decided to ambush them when they wasn't expected to fight, I saw God give Moses the power to just raise his hands on top of the mountain. And as long as Moses' hands was raised up in the air, that's when the children of Israel were winning the victory. Oh, Father, that's a mighty good place for you to be. You need to be in that house with your head bowed and with your hands raised up in the air, asking God's blessings over this here house. You need to ask him, Lord, keep my children as they travel the highway and byway of life. You need to ask God to watch over our bedside while we sleep and slumber at night. Oh, God, help me with these problems that I'm having, that I don't lose my focus and do something that's going to hurt my children. Hey, you need to ask God to keep you when you can't keep yourself. And then I saw God loving his children, giving them what they had deserved. God said, I'm going to send you over there to the land of Canaan, and you're going to live in cities that you did not build. You're going to drink from wells that you did not dig. You're going to eat from vineyards that you did not plant. All you got to do is just serve me and obey my word. Daddy, that's a mighty good place for you to be. Tell that child that when you do what Daddy says, just like Daddy says it, Daddy got a reward coming for you. And there ain't nothing that your daddy won't do for you if you keep Daddy's word. And then I saw God have to later on a chastisement upon his children when they decided to do the opposite from what God had told them to do. God sent them into Assyrian captivity. He sent them into Babylonian captivity. And he had Babylon used as an instrument of punishment in his hand, because when the children start going their own way, you got to bring them back to the right way. That's the reason why the wise man said, if you spare that rod, you're going to spoil that child. God chastises us, and you got to chastise that child. It's not an act of hatred, it is an act of love. I'm trying to get you now so that the devil won't have you later. Oh, Daddy, that's a mighty good place for you to be as a father over that house. If you don't know how to be a father, then let God be your example of how to be a father. And if you follow God's example, you'll never ever go wrong. Yeah. Don't subscribe to the false ideas about fatherhood. Be to your children what God is to his children. God knows when his children are hurting. He knows when something is wrong with them. Now, God doesn't always right away, immediately take away the problem. Children of Israel were crying for over 400 years. Hello in here. God showed up and said, I have heard the cry of my children. 4 generations had to pass by Because that's what God had determined had to happen. And there are some situations that you can't just solve for them right away. Now ask God to give you the wisdom to know when to and when not to. Hello again. There's some lessons they're going to have to learn on their own. Yes, sir. Some things you cannot just snatch them out of. Just can't rescue them from every look that it looks like it's something that may be unfavorable to them. Because what we learn from the Bible is that unfavorable situations build character. Amen up in here. And the reason why the suicide rate is as high as it is now among children in elementary school. I ain't talking about college age where they paying for the education, and if they don't pass this test then they be put on academic probation, which they gonna need some more money for the next. I ain't talking about them who really have the pressures of education on them. I'm talking about children in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade coming to an unrealistic realization in their minds that they can't take what they're going through. What you going through in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Somebody talking about you. You can't handle no talking about it. Okay. Hello in here. You see what I'm saying? Somewhere in that child's growth and upbringing, from kindergarten or even preschool, some child is going to talk about it. Don't you go running up there to the school, want to handle the child that's talking about your child. Don't go running up there to the principal, want to get this child in a conference because they talking about you. Now if they whooping up on your child, that's a whole different story. That's a different story. Yeah, if they whooping up on him now. But I don't care what they say, they ain't got no business putting their hands on him. So you stop them from putting their hands on. But that's when they talking about him. Have we become such enablers of our children that our children can't take nobody talking about them? Has it gotten to the point that we shelter them so much that when somebody says something they don't like, they feel that they got to respond to it in violence? What are we teaching these children? When that child comes home and says, so-and-so was talking about me, Daddy. So, baby, what they said? They said I was ugly. Baby, go give me that mirror over there. Go give me that mirror. Look in that mirror. Do you see ugly in that mirror? Hello? No, see, I ain't never seen ugly on that face that you got, baby. So something wrong with the way they look at their eyes for them to look at all that pretty and then to determine there's some ugly right there. So baby, that ain't your problem. That's their problem. What are you teaching that child? How to handle the difficulties of life. Go up there with your bathrobe on and rollers in your hair and your house shoes, talking about, where's the child that called my baby ugly? You don't do nothing like that. As crazy as I am about my baby. Crazy as I am about my baby. They better not holler, Daddy, baby. But Daddy has had to teach her. During some times when this little girl didn't want to play with her no more. This little girl said she couldn't do that. Baby, that's their problem. You are a Tillman. And Tillmans ain't defined by who play with them and who don't play with them. Baby, God is the only one we concerned with pleasing. And as long as you ain't doing nothing wrong and God is pleased with you, it don't matter.